It all began, allegedly, with one phrase. "This is CCT from here on out. Caitlin Clark's team." 3 simple words, but when spoken by a billionaire, they can change everything. That phrase, reportedly uttered by Simon himself in a closed-door meeting with head coach Stephanie White and executives Amber Cox and Kelly Krauskopf, didn't just reshape a team, it reshaped an entire culture. Within weeks, the Fever looked and felt different. Practices began revolving around Clark. Marketing materials featured her face in every frame. The team's voice on social media, their brand image, even their tone, everything became unmistakably Clark-centric. It wasn't just basketball anymore, it was branding. And yet, behind the glamorous surface, something darker started brewing. Insiders began using one word over and over again: alignment. To the average person, that might sound harmless, but in corporate circles, it usually means one thing: get in line or get out. Sources claimed that Simon wasn't just pushing for more focus on Caitlin Clark, he was conducting a full review of leadership, starting with those who weren't fully aligned with the new direction. That reportedly included both Amber Cox and Kelly Krauskopf, women who had been instrumental in rebuilding the Fever brand. Behind closed doors, they were said to be under scrutiny for how loyal they were to the vision of CCT. And when it comes to Steve Simon, loyalty isn't optional. It's policy. People who've worked with Simon describe him as calm, polite, and unnervingly decisive. He doesn't argue, he reorganizes. If he senses resistance, he doesn't fight it, he replaces it. Which is why so many believe that head coach Stephanie White might be next. White's been everything the franchise needed: experienced, steady, respected. She helped guide the Fever back to the playoffs, restored some order, and earned her players' trust. But there's one thing she hasn't done. She hasn't turned the team into Caitlin Clark's personal showcase. For months, White defended her system. She wanted balance, movement, and teamwork. It was basketball built on principles, not personalities. But Simon's rumored message couldn't be clearer. Principles don't sell out arenas. Personalities do. That difference in philosophy has reportedly caused deep friction. Caitlin Clark, the most talked about rookie in WNBA history, came into the league as a generational scorer. She's the one pulling half-court threes and breaking viewership records. She's the reason tickets are selling and broadcasts are booming. And in Simon's world, that means she's the brand. Every pass, every play, every highlight, it all needs to reinforce that brand. Insiders say this conflict has now evolved into a quiet power struggle. White wants her offense, Simon wants his product. And caught in the middle is Caitlin Clark herself, a 22-year-old phenom who's trying to focus on basketball while billionaires and executives build empires around her name. To make matters more tense, players are reportedly beginning to feel the shift too. Some veterans, loyal to White's vision, are growing uneasy about the spotlight revolving entirely around Clark. Others, especially the younger players, see the writing on the wall. The franchise's future runs through number 22, whether anyone likes it or not. And the business side? That's where this story takes a colder turn. Since Caitlin Clark joined the Fever, the money has exploded. Sponsorships from brands like Hy-Vee, Wilson, and Indiana-based corporations have hit record levels. Ticket sales have tripled. Merchandise is flying off the shelves. And yet, here's the kicker. All those deals, all that revenue, doesn't flow directly through the WNBA. It goes through Pacers Sports and Entertainment, Steve Simon's empire. Every dollar attached to Caitlin Clark's name passes under his control. So, when her usage dipped, when her signature highlights started disappearing from the spotlight, and when social media buzz started to cool off, that wasn't just a sports issue. That was a financial one. That's why, according to those close to the situation, Simon's move wasn't personal. It was strategic. He's not protecting a player. He's protecting an investment. The Fever aren't just a basketball team anymore. They're a billion-dollar marketing vehicle powered by Caitlin Clark. In that light, Simon's alleged actions make perfect sense. A businessman sees declining engagement, and he acts. Not tomorrow, not next week. Immediately. Still, there's an eerie quality to the way all this is unfolding. No official statements, no press releases, no open confrontations, just a silent tightening of control. One quiet decision after another. No one's been fired publicly, but people inside the organization know when the walls are closing in. And when a billionaire starts cleaning house quietly, the changes are often complete before anyone outside even notices. And here's where things start to get uncomfortable, because this isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about image. It's about race. It's about who gets to carry the flag for a sport that's been built by generations of women who fought for every ounce of recognition. Some voices in the league, even high-profile ones, have admitted resentment toward Clark's meteoric rise. They argue that her popularity, in part, reflects the privileges she holds as a white athlete, entering a league historically carried by black women who never got the same level of mainstream attention. Others counter that her success brings money, visibility, and opportunity that ultimately lift the entire league. Whichever side you fall on, it's impossible to ignore how the conversation has shaped the Fever's narrative, a young white superstar becoming the face of a league that's long felt undervalued, and that brings us back to the boardroom. Steve Simon doesn't just see a basketball team. He sees a product in Caitlin Clark that transcends the game, a lightning rod for attention, controversy, and cash flow. For him, this isn't about fairness or politics. It's about protecting what sells. And if that means reshaping the team, rebranding the culture, and replacing anyone who resists, so be it. But here's the problem. When you turn a team into a business model, the chemistry changes. The smiles fade. The trust cracks. Reporters have already noticed awkward post-game interviews, nervous laughter, sidelong glances, players avoiding questions about new directions. And the fans, they feel it too. You can't hide tension from people who've been watching since day one. They know when something's off. They can sense when a team stops playing for each other and starts performing for the cameras. And that's what makes the current silence so loud. No denials from Pacers Entertainment, no clarifications from Steve Simon, no statements from the front office, just a stillness, like the calm before a storm, because maybe that's exactly what Simon wants, to complete the transformation quietly, piece by piece, until one day, the Indiana Fever as we knew them no longer exist. They'll just be Caitlin Clark's team in every sense of the phrase. What happens next could define not just the Fever, but the WNBA itself. If the rumors hold true, then every decision, every roster change, every marketing campaign, every coaching hire will be measured by one standard. Does it strengthen Caitlin Clark's brand? That kind of control can either build an empire or break it. It can make a franchise unstoppable, or it can tear it apart from within. And in this delicate balance between athletic greatness and corporate dominance, one thing's certain: the Fever are no longer being run like a basketball team. They're being managed like a billion-dollar business. And maybe that's the future of the WNBA, or maybe it's the beginning of something far more complicated, because once money takes over, the game itself becomes secondary. The question isn't whether Caitlin Clark can handle the pressure, it's whether the league can handle the consequences of putting one player at the center of everything. So what do you think? Is Steve Simon saving the Fever or strangling their soul? Is this the future of women's basketball, a business-first league built around marketable stars? Or is it the start of a dangerous trend that could divide the sport? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if you've been following this story from day one. And don't forget to subscribe. Because if the whispers coming out of Indiana are true, the next few weeks could change the WNBA forever.